Hey friends, I'm Kat. Welcome to the channel and today's video where we are going to be living in a hypothetical world today where something has happened to the makeup community and we are now only allowed to keep one palette from each brand, which really would be a travesty. And we're going to take a look at said palettes that I would keep. And essentially, these are kind of my favorite from each brand, but also just the ones that I think would be most fun to keep in my collection. So I tried to keep this to brands where I own 3 or more palettes, just to kind of keep it interesting, because I am going to do a version where it's if I had to declutter one from each palette. So, just that way it's not that one by default. And it was interesting going through my collection because I did realize I own quite a few, well, a lot of brands where I have only 1 or 2 from. And it was interesting just to see how many I actually own 3. But we do have quite a big stack for today. And I am really excited to get into this because this is, in a sense, going to be my favorite from each brand. But yeah, kind of. Some of them are just more of, I think this would be the most fun to keep. And before we get into it, I would love if you would consider subscribing if you haven't already. And also, if you're interested, my Instagram is linked down below where I post pretty much every day, as well as my Bookstagram and my Booktube channel. So let's just dive in. I have piles. They're in no particular order, but I am unintentionally starting off with probably my all-time favorite palette, which is Flower Punk from Kaleidos. And I mean, I do happen to own a few. I think I own 4 palettes from them. And this was probably the easiest one to select. This is like very much probably my all-time favorite palette. And like there's zero question that this is the one that I want to keep in my life. I think that it has such a unique color story because like there's some pinks that are slightly grungier, and then obviously the grungy greens. And they are not colors that you think would pair as well as they do together. But I truly do think that this is like one of the best palettes I've ever used. I have come up with some of the most fun looks ever. Like this little yellowy green. It's more yellow in person. Weirdly, the best like complement color ever. I love using that one so much. And yeah, truly spectacular palette. I could come up with so many looks with this. So like I feel like the possibilities are endless, and obviously I want to keep that in my collection. From Huda Beauty, I happen to own quite a few of her larger palettes, and I was considering that just in the sense of larger palette, more eyeshadows, but the Nude Light palette is one that, in terms of versatility, this is truly the best. I mean, it's not versatile at all. What am I saying? This is very much directed for someone of my skin tone, and it's not the most exciting. Clearly it's not super exciting. It's very flat, very light pinks, like very light matte. But for me personally, and anyone with my skin tone potentially, I find that this can create some of the like most light romantic looks, which I do happen to enjoy quite a bit. And I find that this has unintentionally become one of my travel palettes, where I find that if I take this on a trip with me, I'm pretty much guaranteed that, I'm going to have pretty great looks every single day because I know the quality is so consistent and these shimmers are just so pretty. So it's one, yeah, like I really consistently just have amazing looks with it, and I've never once had any issues. So, just even if I could go a bigger palette with way more shades, why would I when this one works so perfectly? And we were in a similar note for ColourPop, where I own so many ColourPop palettes, and there's so many I could have chose that have more colors and more colors that I prefer than this one. But in this hypothetical world, I want to keep something Star Wars, and I am a huge Star Wars person, and I have all of the ColourPop Star Wars palettes, and I want to keep this one. It is the Mandalorian the Child, and I do think it's the nicest one they've come out with. While like these greens can come kind of dusty on me, I do think that they are very pretty, and that out of all of the palettes, these are the ones that I have the prettiest looks with. For nostalgia, this is the one that I would want to keep in my collection, and it is my favorite collaboration that ColourPop's ever come out with. So yeah, just for that, I would really want to keep it. Again, like I do have much larger palettes. I have some of their 40 pan palettes. I don't know if that's how big they are, 28 pan, something like that, which have so many shades. But I think just in my heart, this is where I would keep. And again, it is not my favorite palette. This is definitely not my favorite ColourPop palette, which let me know if you ever want me to do a ranking on that. But yeah, not my favorite, but the one that, in my heart I want to keep. For BH Cosmetics, a brand that I miss, here is the Blueberry Muffin palette. And I do think that this is probably my favorite palette from them. and I would want to keep it just because it is so unique as well. So it's one where the shades of blue that are in this one, I think, are some of the most unique out in the beauty sphere. And just these combinations of neutrals that they've done with it, the shimmers, the brown mattes, like everything about how this is laid out and the colors chosen to complement these blues are so unique. And it's one I can really say I would sorely miss if it wasn't in my collection. Like, clearly I have had quite a bit of use out of it. I think I have 4 pans right now. Like, I have truly been using this like crazy over the years. And yeah, it's very unique. Like, I don't have a lot of blues that are like these ones. Like, they're almost periwinkle, like purple leaning blues. These mattes are just so pretty. Some of the shimmers are a little similar, and I don't even mind because I just think they're so nice. So this is one, like, just for the pure uniqueness of the type of looks that I come out with it, I would always want to have this in my collection. From a glam shop, they are a Polish brand. I do not know the name of this palette. If you can read Polish, maybe you'll figure this out. But I do have 3, and this is the purple palette I have from them. And I will say 100% keeping it because it's purple, and that is my favorite color. And I don't really think I have that many other pure purple palettes in this pile today. The other 2 I have are green, and while they are very fun, something about this just like really captures my heart, and it's just something that I am more excited about and could really see myself using like potentially every day if I so wanted. And yeah, I just think that, so it's more lavender kind of purples, and I really love that. I think really beautiful shades, and this quality is like truly impeccable. So definitely would want this one. From Sugar Drizzle, I went with the Taco Cat palette, and this one mainly because it is a palette of shimmers and more of like special shimmer shades. So this would really, in this theoretical world, give me a lot more options of fun shimmers to add into things. And there's a few in particular that I really love. Like, I love this one, and here, some of the yellows. They're really unique and really fun. So just something that I'd always want to elevate. And when looking through my collection, I think from Sugar Drizzle, I think these are the shimmers I'm most drawn to as well. I think they're the ones I'm most excited about, and ones that I would just really always want to put on my eyes. So that was also a very easy decision. From Unearthly Cosmetics, this I've had since they're back when they were Alien Cosmetics, and this is, I think, the Lore palette. And again, I have so many other ones with more shades that are maybe more user friendly, less weird more cohesive that I could go. But this has always had a very special place in my heart. And in particular, I'd want to put it in here just because of the shimmers. Because I think that these are very unique shimmers. In particular, like Serpent, Medusa, Basil. They're all very fun shades. And I always have a fantastic time when I pull out this palette. And I think that I like truly have had some incredibly fun, unique looks using it. And again, kind of for that, like I don't know. In my mind, I think I have some neutral palettes in this collection for today, but it's something that, you know, there's not a lot of things like it in my collection. So of course I'd want to keep it. I'd want to keep something that's a little strange. And yeah, this was so good. Really miss this formula from them. From Odin's Eye, I have the Hella palette, which was in collaboration with Angelica Nyquist, and it is just all greens and pinks, which are 2 shades that I just really love to wear. I find that these greens tend to lean a little more neutral as well, which makes them very user friendly, and something that in my mind I could see myself using all the time. Because I don't like, in my mind, like this type of green and some pinks are very much neutrals. Like, there's something that I'm just like, yeah, those are basically barely colored. I only really consider myself wearing color when it's like super bright. But anyways, this is one that I have a lot of fun with, and I do find like all these colors pair so well. And just out of all my Odin's Eye palettes, it was definitely the one that was kind of drawing or standing out to me the most out of the ones that like yeah, I think that's the one that I would not want to part with. Glamlight was really hard because I do have a lot of palettes from them, and I did kind of end up going with just like one. This might be my favorite. It's one of the favorites, but it's also one of my bigger palettes from them. And I do think that's kind of why I picked it, is because it is such a large palette with such a large variety of shades. And in this hypothetical world, you know what? Let's pick at least one palette with a ton of shades and really give us everything. And this is Pastels But really fun pastels, very pigmented pastels, and very, very pretty shimmers, all of which are wonderful to have. And yeah, I just find that the tones in this one, they're very unique, which I love. And I just really, really think I can do such a wide variety of things. This would pair lovely with like so many of the other palettes we brought out today. And yeah, just in this world, especially for this formula, we're just going to want as much as possible. So this is one I would be very happy like being my only pastel palette. You know, like it really, really performs incredibly well. So next from Game Beauty, we have the Cyberpunk palette. And this, I think that this color story so spectacularly represents this theme. I really, really enjoy it. And I think just out of all my Game Beauty palettes, this is the one that stands out to me the most. Slash, I've also been having like an incredible amount of fun with it lately. I've been using this like quite a bit in the last few weeks. So I think that it just kind of is like really, really at the forefront of my mind as something I'd want to keep. And yeah, it's fantastic. Love these like lavender kind of lilac-y shades. The blues are so fun. And again, like I can create so many fun looks from this, which is exactly what I would want to have. For a more neutral option, I picked the Natural Nudes from Too Faced. And this, it's kind of a basic palette. It is very pinky nude, but very, very beautiful too. Like has a stunning formula. And that is definitely something like, you know, I think my only nude palette that I selected. And I would definitely get a lot of use out of this. I do like when nude tones kind of lean a little more pinky. I find they're very flattering on me. And yeah, just something I would use all the time. So Pat McGrath weirdly was hard. And I think it's because, for being honest, so many of her palettes kind of look the same. So I ended up going with Utopian Dreams. And this is definitely neutral leaning. It's very, very like dusty pink slash, I don't know, pinks. That's kind of the only way to describe it, with some mauves, and the special shades that are in here are kind of similar to a lot of her other palettes. So this one was kind of hard for me because I do have Divine Rose and then another one that I can't remember the name of, and they all just kind of lean very similar with some slight differences. And I will say that's kind of why I like a lot of these palettes, is because I know what I'm getting and they're pretty consistent quality, like very consistent. Like when I get similar looks out of them, and I don't mind that. But yeah, it was kind of hard. And I think really this one is just, it was the most like everyday friendly, and slash I really do like this shade, and well, both of these shades I really, really like. This multi-chrome, she has a very similar one in so many of her palettes. I think it was these two shades in particular that kind of decided it for me. Slash I also really, really like this matte. And yeah, otherwise a lot of her palettes, they're just so similar. So it's like this one could kind of be swapped out with like any of her other motherships that I have, and you know, wouldn't really make a difference. From Sydney Grace, I went with one of the palettes from the Temptalia collab, and this is the On the Horizon palette. And I really, oh my god, I really like this color story because it very, very much gives like Northern Light. And this one's a little more muted than the other palettes that I have from this collab. And I kind of like that just for every day. So again, I was thinking with this one more of versatile and a little more like day to day, because yeah, we did do so many vibrant palettes, so many unique ones, so many like strange colors, that this one just felt very, very, you know, easy to grab. Like I really, really like these mattes. The shimmer in particular, so stunning. Just really, really solid, like everyday palette. And yeah, very, very pretty. Then going in the complete opposite direction, from Blend Bunny, I went with the Lure palette. And I do have to say, I think this is my favorite from them. It is just mermaid fantasy, and there are so many fun shades in this one that really just make me intensely happy, for being honest. Like I look at this one and I'm just so inspired and so excited. And yeah, it really, really makes me just want to play and want to have fun. And I love the way all these colors are laid out. I love this color story. Like everything about this one makes me so excited. And obviously that's something I want to keep in my life. Like I want to be excited about makeup. I want to see things and get inspired and get excited to play with it and want to do different looks. So yeah, I need to keep this one. There's like no question in my mind that this would have to stay. And okay, we're actually getting towards the end of this, which is exciting. So Cosmic Brushes, this was a very, very hard one for me because there are so many, like I mean, I have 4 palettes from them and all of them stand out in a different way to me. And I did end up going with the Serenity palette, which I think like genuinely just for the greens and the purples. Again, like easily my favorite colors. You will see that over and over again, is that I constantly just gravitate towards these 2 shades. And I could see me getting most excited about like these greens, this one, these purples, this like kind of periwinkle shade, just things that I really, really like to wear. And again, like in this fantasy world, let's be all about color. And while we do have some neutral options, let's have lots of fun with everything else. So this overall, oh my God, this shimmer too is just catching my attention. I think I need to play with this one very, very soon. I'm feeling very inspired. Then Norvina slash ABH, I kind of just lumped them in together, but this is the Pro Pigment Volume 5 one. So for one thing, obviously it's a huge palette, which is nice. And then look at these purples. Obviously I want this. I like, again, the sheer amount of times I will reiterate that I love purple. And also like, so these neutrals too, they're more of a pinky leaning neutral, and something with the tone of them, like truly just amazing. So special to me. This palette doesn't necessarily have the best shimmers, slash it has some pressed glitters, which aren't my favorite thing, but just for the mattes itself and the sheer variety of purples, like there's no way I could give that up. I would absolutely need this, and I have so much fun every time I use this. I get so many beautiful looks. Like I don't think I've ever come out of it with a look that I haven't loved, which is really, really good. So yeah, of course I want that. Then Ace Beauté, the Oceanic palette. This, oh, it's an oldie. It's an oldie for sure. But this is such a fun color story. Again, I'm going greens, I'm going blues. And I feel like every time I bring up this palette, I need to point out how much I love these periwinkle shades. This green is so fun. These are kind of like seafoamy greens, which I love. And again, like I get so inspired by this one. I have so much fun with it. And it just comes like stunning looks every time. I do have like quite a few from Ace Beauté. Again, I have bigger palettes, I have more neutral ones, but why would I limit myself from something that I find intensely fun? So definitely would want to keep this. And then we're just going to talk about one more palette, which I kind of went the opposite way of everything else today. This is the P. Louise Unlock Your Creativity, and I fully just went, well, that's my biggest P. Louise palette. This is the one we're picking. And this is a monster. So, oh my God. So first off, we have all of these pink, orange, yellow mattes on this side. And then on the side, it's all green and blues. And I will say fully, this is the palette I picked because it is my biggest P. Louise one. I like their formula a decent amount. And these are all mattes. They're just really nice colors. Yeah, when I was looking at my other ones, it was just like, yeah, you know, this has the most shades. This is the one I could have the most fun with, and the one that I would truly just get the most use out of that way. And I mean, I do have to point out too, this packaging, terrible. I hate how clunky these are. But, oh my God, yeah. This is just like a really, really beautiful color story and really, really fun every single time I use it. All right, and there we go. So that was our video of just going over if I had to keep one palette from, or if I could only keep one palette from every brand, here's the ones that I would keep. Overall, pretty good collection. Mostly fun palettes, the ones that inspire me, the ones I get excited about, and that's kind of just how I like to do my makeup overall. Yeah, I do neutral like when I go to work, but otherwise I just like to have fun. So thanks for watching today's video. Would love if you would consider subscribing if you haven't already, and hopefully I'll see you in a video very, very soon. Bye.